Has Fallen is the third movie in this Olympus Has Fallen trilogy, or would just be called Fallen trilogy at that point. Well, as far as these Fallen movies have gone, I remember really enjoying Olympus Has Fallen. I actually remember going into that movie, I'm thinking, this is going to be trash, and walked out thinking, nah, that was actually pretty good. I didn't end up seeing London Has Fallen because I heard that movie was poop, and honestly, if I'm being real, I completely forgot that movie was even made. That's why when I saw the marketing for this movie and I saw they were actually making a third Fallen movie, I'm just like, they're still on this franchise? But I did hear some people actually very much enjoyed Angel Has Fallen, so it made me think, oh, alright, maybe there is more to this franchise that can tell a story. But no, I gotta be real with you guys. I really didn't like this movie at all. So this movie surrounds the same cast of characters. You have Gerard Butler, who serves as the personal bodyguard to Morgan Freeman, who plays the president. And one thing that I did actually appreciate seeing with this movie is seeing the kind of job that protecting the president has taken on Gerard Butler, the toll it's taken on him. Morgan Freeman wants him to move up in the security business in their department, but he can't really do that, or at least he doesn't feel he can do that because Gerard Butler has been dealing with a bunch of migraines, a bunch of injuries from what he's had to do. This isn't the kind of job that Gerard Butler can do for the rest of his life. He knows this is kind of a short-term job. It's a very physical job. It's a dangerous job. He has his wife and a baby girl he has to be there for at home. He knows this isn't something he's going to be able to do forever. So I actually ended up appreciating that element with Gerard Butler's character, and I enjoyed Gerard Butler's performance for the most part. Although I'm going to say this right now, I'm never going to be able to buy his American accent. Just certain words he says, if you listen closely, it's like, nah, I still hear that Scottish twang in your voice. But then obviously the movie moves forward. He's on a fishing trip with Morgan Freeman. Then a bunch of drones show up out of nowhere and just bomb the hell out of his boat. I'm on all of his protection. They have to put President Morgan into the hospital, and the world has now made it out. Someone has framed Gerard Butler that he arranged the attack. He killed his team, and he tried to murder President Morgan Freeman. Now with Morgan Freeman in a coma, the vice president, played by Tim Blake Nelson, he's sworn into office. I gotta tell you, right when that happened, the movie just became honestly extremely predictable. Like right when Tim Blake Nelson was sworn into office, I'm gonna be like, oh, he's the one who set up Gerard Butler. Like, it couldn't be more obvious. Now Gerard Butler's on the run. He has to avoid basically everyone that's coming after him, and really the movie just, it doesn't really explore on anything that it really built earlier. Like, I guess you could genuinely say at this point, because, you know, Gerard Butler is under attack and he's being hunted, he has to get back into this business, but the very beginning of the movie established that he wants to get out of this. He wants to just live a normal life with his family. I'll touch more on that towards the end, why I had a problem with it, but, you know, he's on the run, people are coming after him. We get some action throughout the movie, but really none of the action is memorable. Really, nothing that happens in this movie is all that memorable. I'll admit one of the scenes that I did remember is, you know, Gerard Butler hiding out in the forest and he runs into his dad, played by Nick Nolte. Is it Nick Nolte or Nick Nolte? I don't know, feel free to correct me on that. You know, he's got an estranged relationship with his father. His father's never even met his wife or his daughter. And so, you know, they're just hanging out in the woods, basically trying to catch up, trying to, you know, rekindle whatever relationship they have between each other. And, you know, it's pretty awkward because they haven't seen each other in years. Where we'll give the movie credit to, we do get a pretty cool action scene here in the forest with the two of them working together. I do like seeing Nick Nolte being a capable assassin. You could somewhat see, oh, so that's where Gerard Butler gets his badassery from. I will say, their chemistry together, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not as bad as Adam Sandler dressed like a woman in Jack and Jill or anything like that. But again, it's just not memorable. Like, I didn't walk out of this movie thinking like, oh, Nick Nolte and Gerard Butler, they crushed it together, didn't they? Honestly, no. Like, I literally brushed up on my notes for this movie and I had completely forgotten that Nick Nolte was even in the movie. Yeah, and then really from there, it's just a bunch of really sloppy action in Gerard Butler trying to prove his innocence. There's no real suspense, there's no real intensity. The action is filmed just really poorly. A lot of shaky cam, a lot of explosions for the sake of having explosions. Even at one point, there was this guy in this movie who was a part of Gerard Butler's team, you know, who would do his protection with him. He completely turned on him. He was the one who helped Tim Blake Nelson, you know, frame him for what happened. But really, it's like, you don't really understand why he did it. Like, what was the point in it? Like, I can understand Tim Blake Nelson's motive. He wanted to be president, but what was this guy's motive? I mean, I don't know what he was promised. I don't know what kind of vendetta he could have against Gerard Butler. He's just now a bad guy for the sake of being a bad guy. And I'm just like, that doesn't work for me in the movie. That's why when he and Gerard Butler have their knife fight at the end of the movie and he dies, I'm just like, I mean, you know, whatever. He was just kind of in this movie. He didn't provide anything for it. They could have done something really interesting with him. They could have made him like a tragic character. Like maybe he had a strong friendship with Gerard Butler and the the vice president just like twisted his brain in such a way, like promised him this, promised him that, and you know, it just corrupted him to a point where he's like, yeah, I believe that. We should take down Gerard Butler. So when Gerard Butler's forced to kill a guy who I guess was supposed to be his friend, maybe it would just irk him a little bit more. You know, he would feel something. He stabs this guy in his chest and just goes about his day. It's like, yeah, the guy couldn't have meant that much to you. And you know, the movie ends, you know, Gerard Butler is named the head of security by Morgan Freeman, who has recovered. Which, you know, again, doesn't make sense because he was trying to get out of that, but now he's like, alright, I guess I can stick around and keep doing this really dangerous shit and put my family's life in danger. Oh, and, you know, Gerard Butler and Nick Nolte in that one scene in the forest, I guess rekindled their father-son relationship entirely, so, you know, now he's allowed to come visit his home, visit his wife, visit his daughter, and, you know, they're all just one giant, big, happy family. Really, it's like they could have explored more on the father-son relationship, too. They do for a scene. Or at least it just felt like a scene. I don't remember. But all in all, Angel Has Fallen, this movie's not memorable, like I said. Gerard Butler does what he needs to do in this movie. I mean, it's not a memorable performance, but he's not bad either. The movie had a couple of fun action scenes in it, but for the most part, the action is filmed very poorly. It's not really intense. It doesn't get you jacked. Nick Nolte, I thought, would have been one of the better actors in this movie, but he did nothing memorable. They didn't really build so much on the father-son relationship between the two of them. The movie's very predictable. There's nothing in this movie that really stand out to me like, oh, holy shit, that moment though. The movie is kind of what you expect it to be, and once upon a time, I loved movies like this. You know, simple story with a lot of action. I was like, book it, I'm there. Now I'm at a point where I just need a little bit more from that, and it's honestly kind of felt to me that Gerard Butler has just million in with these type of action movies. He wants to be the next action star, and I mean, sometimes it's worked, sometimes it doesn't. In the end, this is one of the situations where, for me, it did not. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.